حي على الفلاح.
Mentions only 4 chapters have ethnic components in the Quran. Chapter 17 is called the chapter of Bani Israil. And this is a very important human community. The influence that they have is extraordinary. And all of the horrors that we've been witnessing in Palestine being done to these poor people that really have no army, they have no air force, they have no defense, they're being bombed relentlessly, humanitarian aid being withheld. I mean, these fanatics going and even destroying food and things that were supposed to go to these people. It's beyond belief to see this. And I know it's so painful for people. The Jewish community historically is a community that has held to a book, the Torah. And when they broke from that Torah, many problems came with that break. And then attempt to restore that Torah brought all of these heresies into their own teaching, like the heresies of Rabbi Kook, as opposed to the more orthodox position of Rabbi Teitelbaum, who still these Orthodox Jews follow. But the Jewish community is a community that has immense education, and when you look at their positions in this country, if you look at the Nobel Prize, the contributions, all these things, this is something that the Muslims had and we lost. This is something we had and we lost. And so we cannot fault people. We can definitely fault what's happening, and we should, and condemn it, what's happening to these people. But we cannot fault people for being in the positions that they have acquired through incredible effort and work when we haven't done the same. We have to rise up as a community because we have the talent, we have the intelligence, especially in these United States. I mean, this community is an amazing community. But Bani Israil is right there in the Quran. And you look at how many verses deal with the Jews. Never an unqualified statement. Minhum al-mu'minun, amongst them are believers. Wa aktharuhum al-fasiqun. Sounds like a lot of communities. Minhum man ta'man huwa dinaran yuaddihi ilayk. Some of them you trust them with a lot of money, they're trustworthy. Other ones, even if it's a small amount, you have to keep on them. Right? Laysu sawa. They're not the same, all of them. This is the Quran distinguishes. It doesn't collectivize. It always distinguishes. And that's why it's very important that the Muslim community recognize that. The Quran, the only time the Quran doesn't distinguish is with believers. And now Muslims, too many of us make all the kuffar one thing. But the Muslims, he's this, he's that, right? So that's a problem in our community. But Bani Israil, the second one, chapter 30, Rome, the Europeans. I mean, isn't it interesting that the two most powerful elements in our modern world have chapters named after them? There's no chapter called Faris. Even though Persia was the most powerful empire at that time, it was more powerful than the Byzantines. But the Prophet said, Al-Furs la akhsha alaykum. The Persians, he wasn't worried about. He knew people like Ali Attai would come out of those people. Great defenders of this religion, great intellects. That's what he knew. Look at the Persians. He's amazing people. The Persians. Allahu Akbar. Look at them. Tirmidhi, Sibawi, Ghazali, Maulana Rumi, Saadi, Hafid. Shabastari. You just go on and on and on. Amazing people. He knew that, he said, Satakun lahum natha. They'll have one butt, Qadisiyah. And then he said, Thumma la Faris. And then there's no, he didn't mean there's no more Persia. He meant there's no more fear of them. It's a great civilization that gave the world so much. But he wasn't worried about them. But he said, Rome, that al-Qurun, the Europeans. And it is the Europeans, my friends. When you see a Rome in any hadith, and in that chapter of the Quran, this is not the Byzantines, it's not the Greeks, it's the Europeans. And their sacred history all goes back to Rome. Read the Venerable Bede. The sacred history goes back to Rome. Rome, that al-Qurun, they will be multi-generational. كُلُّ مَا هَلَكَ قَرْنٌ بَرَزَ قَرْنٌ آخَرَ. Every time you see one of them, their generation destroyed, another one rises up. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. How did he know that in the 7th century? How did he know that? How did he know Persia would end? He didn't see that in his lifetime. How did he know that Rome wouldn't end? And then he said, Ashabu sakhrin wa bahrin. They will possess the land and the sea. And now the air. Bahar is one of the words for the air also. Ashabu bahrin wa sakhrin. Hayhata, hayhata. In other words, don't think you're going to ever conquer them. Hayhata, hayhata. Wa innama harakatu ma'as. Their end comes with the hour. So we have to learn to live with these people. We need to teach them who we are. Encourage them. They're getting better. They are. They're getting better. You know, they haven't dropped an atom bomb in over 70 years. Yeah. So we don't want atom bombs. We should be concerned about this. You know, one of these guys the other day said, maybe we're facing a nuclear war. It's not a joke. Annie Jacobson, read her book. And Surah Dukhan, فَارْتَقِبْ يَوْمَ تَأْتِيَ السَّمَاءُ بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ. Fear a day when the skies will bring a clear smoke, a manifest smoke. يَغْشَى النَّاسِ, it will overwhelm people. هَذَا عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, this is a manifest punishment. رَبَّنَا اكْشِفْ عَنَّا الْعَذَابِ. The believers say, remove this adhab. Inna mu'minun, we're believers. Nuclear winter. The earth is covered in smoke. I don't know, maybe that's one of the meanings. Maybe that's where it's all headed. Because we know Iblis wins in the dunya. He loses in the akhirah, but he wins here.